Hello, here's the anti-gravity machine. I was able to complete it today. It's essentially everything is tested out and now the electronics are installed also. And I'm just gonna do this fly over the plane before I'm gonna test flight, which is probably not gonna be this year. Anyway, let's have a look from over here. Yeah, you can see the reflections of the light, so I'm pretty happy about this this surface finish. So this one came out pretty nice and neat. I can go a bit closer even here. Yeah, so looks pretty nice. Okay, things that I did here was I included here my 2.4 gigahertz dipoles. Maybe the interesting thing is that I 3D printed here a certain antenna mount, so that when you pack the wing into when you pack it, some protective covering, these antennas, they won't bend. I had this problem here a couple of times, so I hope this avoids it. So this might be a nice idea for you as well. Then what else? Maybe over here. Yeah, here you can see my ball link push rods. So every control surface here uses these ball links because they're pretty play free. These are custom milled G10 control horns. They are glued in. Later in the blog I will explain a bit more about this. Then over here at the end, here is really where my antenna sits. It looks a bit funny because this is a bit bent, but this was really the best position I could figure out. So I took here a connector, and okay, let me see if I can focus this. Yes, so this connector here is glued in, and you can just unmount the antenna this way. This way, I think it has the least amount of drag, and it does not really disturb the look that much. Yeah, alright, then let's see. Over here is my camera mount that I also just finished printing yesterday. Let me try to focus here again. Okay, so it's just a very small, this is the size of my finger, a very small camera. The picture is pretty good. The contrast, however, is not if you compare it. But I mean, just for thermaling, I'm pretty okay with this approach. Let's have a look inside the fuselage. Here there's a tiny 65 gram motor inside, a Hyperion with 1100 kV. It's spinning here Aeronaut 12.5 Cam Carbon prop and my favorite top model CZ turbo spinner. This is a G10 milled motor mount, so you can see that the motor is this inner circle, and there's actually plenty of space for airflow to go through, so I'm hoping that nothing overheats, because I want to push the limits of this motor in terms of climb. So really just give it a throttle punch, climb heavily, and then switch it off, ideally forever. The ESC, I'm going to look inside over here. This one here is there's a snap lock over here. Just pull it back, and then the rest at the rear is here, a magnet lock over here. So here's the ESC. I left the standard heatsink on. Let's see if you can see this a bit better over here. And I extended it. I protrude this computer RAM heatsink here outward. So this one should really cool the ESC substantially. It really helped me mitigate some problems that I had previously. This one here is the battery chute. It sits a bit in front of the CG, balances very nicely with all these links. I was really happy. It was a lucky shot, I must say. Here with Velcro, so you can just really flip in, flip out. It takes virtually no time. Behind over there is a Rangevideo current sensor. They have a new one. It's a shunt current resistor. Not shunt current, sorry, a Hall effect current sensor. Hall effect current sensor. Okay, Hall effect current sensor, and it is a lot more precise than the previous one. Problem here that I have with it is that my idle current is pretty sure lower than 0.5 amp. So actually, if I fly for over an hour just in thermals, it shows that my battery is drained. I don't know, 40-50%, but actually it's not. So I have to tweak a few numbers in my head. Anyway, let's try to remove this wing. I don't know if you can see this. Okay, this after you have this half here and you glue them together, I added here another strip and I put the whole back here in the vacuum bag, so that I also get this glossy finish, and even also this step here in the center It came out pretty nice. I'm pretty happy about it. Of course, you can see the texture change here. That's because over here the fabric orientation is plus minus 45, where it's here it's 0 and 90. There's also a few UD carbon, very light one, I think 80 gram or something, carbon underneath. Let me try to remove this wing now. It's very nice and snug fit. It slides in very easily. Let me try to flip this over now so that you get a better view of this colic here. Okay, inside here is the RV OSD. I have here a D8RXP receiver. I had good experience when I used it here with a 2.4 gigahertz 1 watt booster. Here a few of the servos, so they're all here nicely integrated. Here a few stripes for better visibility. Let me see, maybe there's another thing here which is a bit interesting. Okay, this one here is my homemade Arduino based Vario. The 0 is a bit off, but I think when you fly you don't notice a big difference. The transmitter here is buried inside the fuselage. Now this is a bit of an experiment, but when I did all the setups, I let it run for over an hour, and it gets pretty warm, but I mean, of course there's no airflow right now. So the idea is that I removed the original heatsink and I pasted, I glued with very thin tape, double-sided tape. I glued here two additional, two better, probably higher surface heat sinks. And then over here there's a small hatch, kind of like an inlet, a duct, and this one here should actually cool this transmitter here sufficiently. So I think it's okay. And then I did this bad thing. Well, bad thing, I don't know how bad it is, but let's see. So this one here is maybe 20 centimeter, maybe a bit more. So I extended here with a RG316 coax the antenna out so that I can place it over there. Well, this is how I did it. Yeah, then there's not much more to say about this one. Let's have a look at the functions that I programmed here inside the radio. Let's see how the control surfaces actually move. Okay, I just need to place this here nicely so that my flaps are not in the way. Okay, radio is on. I need to put the phone down for a second. Give me a moment. Okay, here we are back again. So now the thing is actually operational. I'm also going to switch on here my ground station so that we can get an idea of how does the picture look. Okay, maybe here or there we get a few glitches. It's just reflections inside, but the picture here is actually quite good. Don't complain about this. Let's see about the control surfaces. So I mix here, maybe here you can see the washout effect is here by shifting these outer ailerons up by 4 millimeter. So I just took some balsa wood, and this is a 4 millimeter step. I can slide it in here. I think you can see this. So this on both sides is the same. So I get this washout effect, and it should fly level with this for a CL of 0.4. That's an okay number for a glider, so it should fly pretty slow. Let's see. Okay, this is my elevator function. The whole thing starts moving quite rigorously. Then of course here's also my aileron function. Since I cannot do any mixing, any differential aileron mixing with the OSD autopilot, I usually set this off by the vertical fin, so I mix rudder inside. And the other thing here is that okay, usually my throttle is over here. I programmed the switch here with the ER9X so that by flipping it, right, the throttle becomes inactive. So there's no more throttle here. So, but on the throttle stick, I then reroute my whole wing functions. So that means if I now go full throttle, actually what I get here is the crow function. So you can see here nicely that really this thing has quite a nice brake over here. If we look at it from in front, you can see that the area definitely increased a lot. So I calculated about 6 times the normal drag, so it should really decelerate the craft nicely. This is adjusted in such a way that really when you activate this, the craft should not go up or down, so it really just pretty much flies level. So you can fly very high, dive down, right, activate the flaps, then level the plane again, remove the flaps or the crow, and then really land nicely in your hand. So this is the approach of this one. Okay, I hope you like this plane. My maiden flight is going to be most likely next year. Now let's see if we find some other colleagues from the forum who are also interested in building this. I'm going to keep updating this trip. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.